but we must loudly call out against replacement theory and denounce those who have allowed and even encouraged the bigotry. Back to the kitchen table for the babies, for the children. We were very pleased yesterday that we were able to pass 2 bills that address the baby formula shortage. This is about hungry babies and parents in anguish. We took 2 bold steps, I think you saw, with what they were, even though much of the debate was in the evening. One bill to improve access through the WIC program, you know, that's Women and Children program, and half of all formula nationwide is purchased at WIC for women of lower income or more in need families. And then after that, we did the emergency supplemental. That was under Bobby Scott and Johanna Hayes leading that, and emergency supplemental under leadership of Rosa DeLauro to give the funds to the FDA to do what they need to get formula back on the shelves as soon as possible. The President took action yesterday, which was very important, which was to enable, which until then it wasn't enabled, the Defense Production Act to be able to deal with baby formula and to make military planes available to bring formula into the country. He's been very clear, though. We want to be as quick as possible, but we must be safe and we must be cautious for the children. We proceed again to make sure they have the nutrition they have to grow and to reach their fulfillment. This is another kitchen table issue, is the price gouging, and Democrats work to protect America's physical security. We're also laser focused on protecting families' economic security. While families are struggling in America to pay high prices at the pump, some of it caused by the Putin price hike, some of it because of lower supply because of COVID or just decisions made by some other countries. We do also see with 7 largest oil companies announcing buybacks that could total $41 billion this year alone. And again, why is this not being passed on to the consumer when they have all of the success that they have? We'll soon pass the Consumer Fuel Price Gouging Prevention Act to crack down on big oil's price gouging, which spikes prices at the pump for America's families. The bill, what it does is enables the president to issue an energy emergency declaration that will prevent oil and gas companies from imposing exploitive, excessive gas and home energy prices on families. Another kitchen table issue, Democrats are working to lower food prices by working for the grocery store with the Ag Committee yesterday marking up bipartisan bills that will help consumers and agriculture producers. All these issues, like the price of oil, affect the costs to farmers as well. These bills will lower costs by addressing supply chain disruptions, and that's very important, boosting meat processing capacity, which is part of the problem here, a big part of it, and holding big meatpacking conglomerates accountable for unfair practices that hurt ranchers and push up prices. It's about increasing competitiveness, competition to lower costs. And we look forward to strong votes on these cost-cutting bills now that they've passed the committee. One of the big contributors to inflation and cost to the increase of prices going up is, of course, the supply chain challenge that we have. So we're very excited about the progress that's being made on the Competes Act. The Competes is a cost-cutting bill to make more goods in America. Make it in America, as Mr. Hoyer always says. Make it in America with American workers and lower cost at home, to lower cost at home. As you know, $52 billion for chips, and semiconductors, $40-some billion for supply chain challenges, and make more critical goods made in the United States, and bolstering our U.S. research and innovation, strengthening U.S. global leadership. It is such a busy time. We have so much going on, and we're so pleased that we're proceeding in such a strong bipartisan way with the Competes Act. It's a transformational bill for America. Will make us independent, will make us self-sufficient, and so that consumers can benefit from that. Right now, there's a lobbying effort going on. Chinese, for the most part, is having a big lobbying effort going on, but we're confident that we will be able to pass the bill, and we hope that we can do so in time to celebrate our independence on 4th of July. Again, we have an expeditious timeline, but we're hoping that that will work. As we gather, we are pleased that the Senate will soon follow the House's lead in passing a $40 billion supplemental funding bill for Ukraine. This funding will make an immediate and substantial difference in Ukraine's fight with funds for security, weapons, humanitarian assistance, food, giving them the opportunity to sell their food abroad, humanitarian assistance also to get food to people who live in Ukraine, economic assistance, and also all of this to combat Putin's brutality, but part of it, big part of the discussion we have about sanctions as well. Today, so I was trying to anticipate your questions in my fuller presentation today. Shortly, I had the high honor of meeting with the Finnish president and the Swedish prime minister. They're here to talk about their entry into NATO. This is so exciting. It's so historic. On behalf of the Congress, I will thank them for their partnership, thank them for their courage, and in the face of Putin's aggression, and I warmly will welcome. We will have a bipartisan meeting with them. We warmly welcome their accession to NATO. Any questions?
Madam Speaker, on the infant formula issue, are you satisfied with the urgency with which the White House has handled this issue?
Yes.
And with the Senate may or may not even vote on something before they leave town today?
Well, I don't know if they will do it when they leave town today, but the bill that we passed, the WIC bill, the bill that actually went here, but for those who were here with Debbie Stabenow just the other day, she was introducing the bill with Bobby Scott and John Hayes. So we have already gone down that path. And then in terms of them, yeah, I mean, we have to have the money for the FDA to do its job. So I think that we'll have some success. And what's the objection? We don't want to spend money on babies who are crying for food? Okay, let's have that debate, okay?
But you're fully satisfied with the administration's response on this?
Yes. These things, first you have to analyze what the problem, how did this happen? How did this happen? Where is the problem? What is the private sector, which has to contract to supply all of this, where did that fall down? But in the meantime, you're seeking, in other words, it's one thing to solve the problem as we go forward. It's another thing in the here and now to get that baby food on the shelf, the infant formula on the shelves. So the president has been very clear. We want to be as fast as we need to be, but we have to be safe and we have to be therefore cautious. And they have taken steps. I'm very pleased with the president did yesterday, but what they have been doing as we go along. It's never soon enough to have food for crying people.
Madam Speaker, about the price gouging bill, so even if this does pass the Senate, it will take time to implement. What's your message to the American people who are looking for relief right now and are asking the question, why aren't you guys doing something that would have more immediate impact?
Well, we're doing a number of things. We're doing market manipulation, actually today as well. But the fact is that this situation had to be addressed for now. Everything we talked about, we're talking about how do we solve it for now, but how do we prevent it from the ongoing. The fact that it might take a little while to implement is not a reason not to do it. When they are exploiting the market in the manner in which they are. So we are very proud of the work our committees have done. We announced that here. Again, House and Senate, a couple of weeks ago, plus track of time, but recently, and we will do this and other things to help with the price at the pump. A lot of it is about supply, and those are negotiations that have to go on about supply. And a country is just not ratcheting up the supply, or people here not drilling, using the permits they have to drill in our country. So it's multifaceted, it's not one thing. But this is for the ongoing. Stop price gouging of the American people. Let us have the market manipulation tools to stop market manipulation tools that we need for the FTC. That's what these two bills will do.
Madam Speaker, a couple members of both parties have expressed a concern. You have another incremental phased reopening here at the campus May 30th. But I got members of both parties saying they'd like it to happen wider and faster because they're saying no to school groups.
Yeah,
Can you use your office to make it happen faster?
Well, since I'm not the House Capitol physician, no, I can't. So that, if I ruled the world, we wouldn't have COVID, and we certainly would have treated it differently 2 years ago when it reared its ugly head. But this is all based on Capitol physician and what he enables us to do, working with the Sergeant at Arms. But it is, we all want our kids, people to come. This is the people's house. The joy of it all is to see school groups and others come. And there's a lineup. In other words, they're trying to move people in as quickly as possible, but as safely as possible. So this is not up to me. It's up to the official Capitol physician as well as the Sergeant at Arms.
Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker.
Good morning, good morning. In order to maintain control of the House, you obviously need all of your Democrats on the same page. It seems like there is a lot of blowback against the head of the DCCC, Sean Patrick Maloney, what district he will run in, all these maps in New York, some younger members of the party going after him. Is he putting himself in the appropriate position here in terms of his personal race to be able to manage things across the board for the fall?
I'm not getting involved in the politics of New York and New District. He, as well as other members of the New York delegation, said they were going to run in districts where their home is. They'll find out what district that is on Friday when the announcements made. The public period of comment would end yesterday. Friday they'll make an announcement. That's what.
And this doesn't affect the party at large here, as you're trying to hold the House?
Not at all.
Well, why not, though? You said, I can understand not
Because
getting involved in New York.
It doesn't. We have a great chairman of the DCCC. He's a master of the 3 M's. The mobilization, on the ground to get out the vote, the messaging that is non-menacing, that fuels the get out the vote, and the money, the resources needed to do that. He has worked very hard. I'm very proud of the work that he's done. He is elected by the members. He's not appointed by the speaker. He's elected by the members. And welcome to our world. Have you heard any complaints about me in politics?
Once or twice. Well, we get that in journalism too sometimes.
Yeah. We don't agonize, we organize. No.
Madam Speaker.
I want to ask 2 questions since we're not here the next couple weeks. Number one, on COVID relief, when do you anticipate 4-corner negotiations will talk? And then we'll start. And the FDA had a whistleblower report on the formula issue and has not even, as of, I mean, I think the FDA commissioner today was in front of the Senate, didn't talk about why they didn't respond quicker to that whistleblower report that Rosa DeLauro, I think, was the one that put out. I'm curious if you could address that.
Yeah, here's the thing, on the FDA, I gotta go, I got 2 heads of state, but let me.
We're more
try to be
important than
brief.
them.
You're gonna be there, and you care about heads of state, or just care about New York Redistricting?
New York District.
That, NATO, security, the whole thing.
No.
UFOs.
Here's the thing, to the point of the whistleblower, there was a whistleblower in October regionally. That was reported regionally and that was investigated, and there wasn't found to be the problem as described, so it wasn't reported up the line. That's what that is. That doesn't excuse it or anything, but that's what it was. So the FDA writ large never really received that report, and that's the report that Rosa, Madam Chair, was telling us about. The FDA, when I first came here, for years, I thought it was the Federal Drug Administration. I didn't even know it had anything to do with food, because they have such a small food budget. And one of the reasons they have a small food budget is because there's resistance from the food industry to pay the fees that, on the drug side, pay the fees, and that helps fund the FDA, as I understand it. So we are going to have to, and Mr. Malone talked about this the other day, and he tried to, the fees were an obstacle to expanding. So on the food side, I think they have like 8 people who are doing formula. I mean, really? So we have to, again, think in terms of the here and now and the future, and we have to give more resources to the FDA to do its job, to protect the American people. And one more point that you didn't ask about, but that I said the other day, is the FDA doesn't have the authority to recall and drugs on the drug side. They don't have that. You think they do, don't you? Didn't you think they had the authority to recall? They don't. They can talk about it, and then by moral suasion, bad press, or whatever it is, the company would then call it in. So we have in the CHIPS Act the ability for them to recall, but, and notice this bill has a small amount now, with 26 million, or whatever the final figure ends up to be, that helps with this here and now, but we really do have to look at how we deal with the food part of the food and drug. Yes?
Yeah, I was curious how concerned you are about the problems that are piling up with inflation, gas prices, the baby formula shortage, impacting your ability to hold the House in the fall.
We are, look, we do our elections one district at a time, and we have our candidates here this week. Spectacular. More to come as primaries happen. Spectacular. So when I talk about the 3 M's, money, mobilization, message, money, there are 3 legs of the stool that hold up the platform for the candidate, and the candidate will largely tell, and that is what we're so proud of. So there are challenges. There's no question we would like COVID to have not had other variants emerge, but it did, and it's being dealt with. The inflation issue is related to COVID. It's also related to other factors in terms of supply and the rest. And even though some apologists for the very wealthy are saying it doesn't have anything to do with unemployment going down, it does have something to do with that. So again, it's not about whether it exists or not. It's about what are we doing about it, the recognition, and what are we doing about it. And one of the biggest things we're doing about it, of course, is the Competes Act. Another is to take down the price at the pump. Another is to reduce the cost of food in these agriculture bills that we are doing. And then, obviously, the baby formula is something that we don't consider political. That's right at the kitchen table. So we think from the standpoint of the kitchen table that there is no comparison between where, I mean, they don't even vote for domestic terrorism. Isn't that sad? Even 3 of the authors of the sponsors of the bill and the Republicans didn't vote against domestic terrorism. Safety, it's the oath we take, protect and defend. Safety is a critical issue, and that is where we have to show. And we would hope that all of this would be bipartisan. This is not to find an issue to campaign on. It's about trying to meet the needs of the American people. So I have absolutely no intention of the Democrats not winning the House in November. I think that in terms of the work that this president has done, and he's been a great president, I don't know about polls, but I do know about winning the races one district at a time. When we won in 18, we won 40 seats, 31 in Trump districts. 31 in Trump districts. He wasn't on the ballot. I said, now comes the hard part, because he's now on the ballot in 2020. So we lost about 1/3 of those seats, but the ones who won are practically ironclad. Some of them have little different tweaks for better or worse on redistricting, but we expect them all to come back and to add to our number. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about the optimism we have about how urgent this election is. Our democracy is on the ballot. People expect that to be taken care of. They want to know what we're doing about their kitchen table issues, food, education, prescription drugs, and we talk about prescription drugs, only 12 of them voted with us to make insulin cheaper. So our democracy on the ballot, freedom that springs from our democracy on the ballot. A woman's right to choose is on the ballot, and that is a kitchen table issue. So we feel we're comfortable. We love it, the candidates, they're great, they're emerged from their district, as will our message emerge from the people. And we just have, people really want us to win. So from the standpoint of their generosity in terms of ideas and volunteering of time, as well as the necessary resources to win the day, we feel pretty comfortable. And we're very
Madam
proud of
Speaker.
Sean Patrick Maloney. Thank you.
Thank you all. Madam Speaker.
Thank you.